Hey YouTube, this is Kyle from Mr. K's Math and Science channel. Today's video is on solving equations with one variable. So I've got two examples for you today. I prefer just to dive right into the example rather than give you a bunch of math jargon. So let's dive in. The first problem is 4x plus 8 equals minus 12. The directions say to solve the equation. The idea here is that we want to solve for the variable x. So when you read this equation, 4x plus 8 equals minus 12, you have 4 times x plus 8 equals minus 12. So the first step when we try to isolate a variable is to combine like terms and then try to isolate just the variable. So the first step then is to move our 8 on the left hand side over to the right hand side. In order to do that, you combine like terms and you get rid of terms by doing the opposite operation. So since that 8 is added because it's 4x plus 8, in order to move it to the right hand side of the equation, we must subtract on both sides. So in the second line, you see that I have 4x plus 8 and then a minus 8 in red equals minus 12 minus 8. Because this is an equality, you must do the same thing on both sides of the equation. If you take 8 away from the left-hand side, you have to take 8 away from the right-hand side. So in order to get that 8 away from the left, we'll do it on both sides. So subtracting by 8 on both sides leaves us with 4x equals minus 20. So now we have the same issue. We want to get the x by itself. So the 4 is being multiplied by x. So in order to get rid of the 4, we must do the opposite operation. So since it's multiplied, we divide. So we divide now on both sides of the equation by 4. So then you can rewrite as 4x over 4, or divided by 4, equals minus 20 divided by 4. Anything divided by itself, so the 4 divided by the 4 is 1, and that goes away, that's canceled. It's not 0, it goes away, it goes to 1. So on the left hand side we get x, and then 20 divided by 4 is 5, and of course we have the negative sign out front. So x is then equal to minus 5. And if you need a little bit of confirmation, you can plug the minus 5 back into the original equation. So if you plug in the minus 5 for x, you get 4 times minus 5. So 4 times the minus 5 is minus 20, and then minus 20 plus a positive 8 is minus 12. So that's our little sanity check. So let's try another example. Same directions as the previous example, solve the equation. This time our variable is y, so the equation is 2y plus 5 squared equals 75. So the first thing is we want to get rid of that exponent, so we need to evaluate it. So 5 squared is 25. 5 squared, remember, is just 5 times 5. So then we are left with 2y plus 25 equals 75. Now again, we're trying to isolate the y, so we want to move everything away from it. So the next step is to move the 25 to the right hand side of the equation. In order to do that, since 2y is being added to 25, we must subtract 25. We do the opposite. So we get 2y plus 25 minus 25 equals 75 minus 25. When we evaluate, 25 minus 25 goes away. That's 0, so we're left with 2y on the left-hand side. And then 75 minus 25 is, of course, 50. So we're still working towards getting that y by itself. Since y is now being multiplied by 2, we want to do the opposite operation, which is then divide by 2. So we divide by 2 on both sides of the equation. 2 divided by 2 is just 1, so it goes away and we're left with y. 1 times y, right, so you can get rid of the 1. And then 50 divided by 2 is 25. And if you need a little sanity check, you can then go do that. Plug in the 25 for the y, so 2 times 25 is 50. Remember, 5 squared is 25, so 50 plus 25 is 75. So we got it right. So when trying to solve for equations with one variable, you're always trying to get that variable by itself. You're always working towards that end goal of getting that variable alone on one side of the equation. That's how we solve for that variable. When you have operations, in order to cancel them out or negate them, if you will, you do the opposite. So if something's added to something and you want to get rid of it, then you subtract it. If something's multiplied by something else and you want to cancel that out, you divide. You always do the opposite operation in order to cancel out that number on one side or the other. If you have any questions or comments about this video or would like to suggest content for future videos, send me an email at stein51687@yahoo.com. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe.